Hey everyone, it is Vickie Magic here. So I am really excited to share with you today, right now, some of the details from my new upcoming book, which is coming out later this year. So in this webinar, I am going to share with you some of the contents of it, and then share with you also some tools that will potentially really inspire you to wake up and to see that you already have everything that you need to be all that you ever want to be. I truly believe that we, as in us humans, search outside of ourselves for answers, for strength, for confidence, for love. But actually, that is all already within us. So in this webinar, Wake Up, You've Got This, I want to inspire you to see that actually you already have all of it within you. I believe that once we get this, we get so many other things too. We start to actually enjoy our lives more. We have more joy, we have more happiness, we have more peace, and we have more success. We also have more health, or better health, more wealth. And let's face it, at the end of the day, isn't that what life is truly all about? So yeah, it's my mission to shout it from the rooftops, because I love nothing more than to see every single solitary human to see for themselves that they do already have all that they need to be all that they ever want to or need to be. So what more could we possibly want, right? So sharing my message with the world is what gives me purpose. It's what gets me up in the morning. It's what gets me going. And, for me, my self-development and the journey that I've been on over the last 10 years has catapulted me forward in so many areas of my life that it is my purpose and it is my journey to share those tips, those tricks, those tools with the world. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar. And I absolutely know that if you listen right to the end, if you put some of these tools, some of these tricks, some of these tips into action for yourself, that they're going to catapult you forward too. So thank you for the opportunity to share this with you. I'm really grateful for it. So the full book, which is out later in the year, actually does cover every area of your life, and it will empower you to truly up the ante on your level of success, on your health, on your wealth, on your love life, on your joy, on your relationships, and on every part of your life. So the book is seriously about inspiring you to wake up and to see that you've got this thing called life. So these 7 tools will actually help you and give you everything that you need to be that next version of you, to step up, to level up to that next version of you. So if you're ready for that, if you're up for that, if you are knowing that you are needing to wake up, then this is the wake-up call that you could be sitting there waiting for. And you will, I absolutely know, realize that you've got this, that you truly do. So if you're ready to stop watching the game of life. I know for myself, I spent a lot of time actually watching from the sidelines, actually, criticizing and telling people what they should be doing and how they could be better, how they could do better, and all the time while sitting on the sidelines myself. But it wasn't until I got down on the field, got down on the court, and started playing full out that I really, really realized that actually I do have this. I've got this. And it was a wake-up call for me. And it's that wake-up call that I'm sharing with you today. So, what are you waiting for? Are you ready? Are you actually ready to up the ante and really play full out? Put yourself out there. Put yourself in the middle of the court and actually play this game of life harder and better and stronger with more confidence, more courage than you ever have. I think you are. And I want to be the one to help you and empower you and inspire you to do just that. So here's a little bit, a little snippet from the book. First of all, I'm going to share with you what the 7 areas are to really help you to wake up and to see that you have exactly what it takes to wake up and see that it is time for you to step up and into that best version of you that is possible for you to be. So let's have a look first of all at the 7 areas, and I'm going to go through those 7 areas tonight, and at the end of each little area I'm going to give you a tip, one tip. In the book it obviously goes into a lot more depth, and in each area there's 3 tools that I give you at the end of each section as well, to really inspire you and to give you not just the what, here's what you should do, but the how. And sometimes that's what's missing. It's, we know what we need to do. We all know what we need to do, but sometimes we just need a little extra inspiration on the how. And so that's what I'm going to give you today. So the first area is truth. And I'll go into a little bit more detail of that later. The second is gratitude. The third is courage. The fourth is choice, the power of choice. It's such a powerful tool, one that I know that you're going to love getting into the crux of. The next area is love. The next is the power of now. You may have heard of the book, The Power of Now. So this is kind of, with me, I loved that book. However, I kind of sometimes struggled to keep up with it. And so in my version of the Power of Now, I just kind of try to simplify a little bit for you so that you really can effortlessly get this stuff and really step up and into that next version of you. So the 7th area is surrender. And that's the 7th area of the book that I'm also going to share with you tonight. So we're going to start with the very first one. But what I want to tell you as well is that it actually took me a little while to wake up. It took me a little while to actually see that I did have everything that I needed to be all that I ever wanted or needed to be. So you might be at the beginning of your wake up journey. You might be in the middle. You might actually be well and truly into it. It really doesn't matter what part of the journey you are currently at. All that matters is that this webinar, this section tonight, this whole thing today is about giving you a kick start to up the ante, or maybe a kick up the bum to up the ante, to really ignite the superpower that is already within you. So what does waking up even mean? I guess to me, it was simply the moment that I realized that my life was in my hands, that at any given moment, I had control. I had the power of choice, the choice to decide and the choice to choose again, the choice to choose another way. And you have that choice too. And sometimes you and I just don't actually realize that power that we have in our own hands through the power of choice. So let's go back to tool number one. So tool number one is the truth. It's all about the truth. And it's really important and intentional that this is the first in this series, because it's thinking about what is your truth. What do you believe? Because it's absolutely incredible the difference that belief can make. When we believe in ourselves, in others, in our capabilities, in our ability, everything else seems much, much clearer. But it's so important that we believe in ourselves, that we understand that we personally actually hold that power of our truth in our very own hands. Self-belief, self-confidence is something that we sometimes lack. And it's often something that we know that if we had more of, it would make life way easier. So think about it yourself and know this, that the truth is whatever you say the truth is. So I just want to reiterate that. I want to say that again, and I want you to hear it, and I want you to feel it, and I want you to understand it and comprehend it for yourself. The truth is whatever you say the truth is. So what truth are you currently telling yourself that is maybe not serving you? Think about something that you're thinking, something that you're saying, something that you're repeating to yourself over and over again that currently isn't serving you. In fact, maybe it's something that's holding you back. Maybe it's something that is sabotaging your own success. And just begin by catching yourself and acknowledging what you are doing. Take a look at your truth. Whatever you're repeating to yourself over and over is your truth. That's your truth. To change it, we have to actually begin by changing our own words. So in the book that's coming out this year, a little bit later in this year, I'm going to be sharing 3 steps at the end of each section that will actually inspire you and give you the how to change and the tools to actually take on board that will be a catalyst for you in each of those areas. And these tips will give you more self-confidence. They will give you more courage than you can ever aspire towards. So the tool tonight that I'm going to give you is a little snippet of just one. And this is actually just a little snippet of the first one, which is the truth. But the tool around the truth is I want you to actually begin to really acknowledge to yourself that the truth is simply your current truth. And that in order for you to change that truth, you have to decide that you're ready to change that truth. You have to start with your thoughts and just think about what is your truth? What are you believing currently that isn't serving you, that you know that you need to change? Then begin to change your words. So those words that you're using, are they serving you? What words are you currently using? Like, for example, the word I can't. Taking that word and changing that word into a question, how can I? And then, sort of just brainstorming ideas of how you can. And then your actions. So are those actions actually backing the truth that you want for yourself? And if you will begin to change that truth right now. What's your new truth? What do you want to be your new truth? And what are the thoughts that you need to change? What are the words that you need to change? And what are the actions that you need to change? So just think about that for a moment for yourself, because it is actually the truth that we believe to be the truth that stands in our own way. That is our limiting beliefs. And that is the first area that I talk about, and the first area that I actually focus on, and the first area that I teach you about in the book. So the second area that I want to focus on tonight and just touch on tonight is gratitude. So being grateful for what you have isn't just an airy-fairy thing. It's the first step in ensuring that you are going to get more of what you want. The more you decide to see what's good around you and be grateful for it, to truly acknowledge what you already have and to send out gratitude for that, that's the way that you're going to see that more things that you want are going to appear before your very eyes. So yes, this is the power of attraction. This is manifestation. This is how we manifest towards us what we want. So the book, The Secret, you may or may not have heard of it, you may or may not have read it. For me, I love The Secret and I love the law of attraction, but I felt that the thing that was missing in that was the action. So the actions that we have to put in place in order to manifest that stuff that we want for ourselves and our lives. So what we focus on grows. What we water, we get more of. So if we want more of something, then like the garden out in our backyard, if we water weeds, problems, talk about them, share them, and all of the rest of it, we are going to get more of what we water, because what we water grows, what we focus on grows. So if we want more flowers, the good stuff, then it is imperative, it is absolutely imperative that we water those flowers, the things that we want more of. And that's where gratitude kicks in, because we're actually being grateful for everything that we have. We're actually acknowledging what we already have. And so the universe hears that and says, awesome, this person is a really grateful person, and so I'm going to give them more things to be grateful for. Whereas if we're constantly watering the weeds, constantly talking about, sharing about the things that we don't want, then the universe hears that and says, oh, I'm going to give this person more of that. So really think about that, really consider that. We've all heard the saying, be careful what you wish for. Trust me, I believe this is much more factual than we first think. I personally think that that is that missing link in The Secret, that action is a very powerful thing that we sometimes don't think of. So think about taking action towards really focusing on what you want more of, and not just naming what you want more of, not just being grateful for it, but putting in place the actions that you know that you need to do in order to make those things happen. So yeah, the section on gratitude in the book is huge, and being grateful in advance is another part of that I think is a really powerful way to actually create and attract more to ourselves. So in that book, that area on gratitude is going to be a really big section. And of course, there's, all of the different parts of it. There's going to be 3 tips and tools at the end, but I'm going to share one with you today. And that is to continually remind yourself over and over not to focus on what you do want, on what you don't want. And when you actually find yourself focusing your attention on the things that you don't want, I want you just to remind yourself to think again, to remind yourself to remember that you are watering another weed, and that you don't want more weeds, you want flowers. And so just in that moment, to remind yourself, just to click your fingers and remind yourself to begin to refocus your attention back towards what you do want, back towards the things that you're grateful for. So it is something that we have to constantly do every single day. So if you're not currently practicing gratitude every single day, if you're not currently focusing your attention towards what you want more of every single day, then start that practice right now. And if you're already doing it here, there, spasmodically, just remind yourself and start today to put in place for the next 42 days. That's how long it really does take to create a new habit, to constantly write down everything that you're grateful for, so that you can actually create more of it. So it's important that we write it down too, because just saying it, they're words, they just go away. So writing it down is really important. So the third area that I want to talk to you about today is courage. And that is a really important part of how we get more confidence and how we get more courage as well. When it comes down to it at the end of the day, and for that matter at the beginning of the day, the thing that stops you, the thing that stops me, is fear. We fear what may or may not happen. We fear failure. We fear lack of. We fear better than. We fear less than. We fear not good enough. We fear all of these things. And think about that yourself. What do you fear? What's holding you back? What is that thing that is stopping you? That self-doubt, that thing that you know you need to get rid of forever, so that you can step up and become that braver, more courageous version of you. So I want to ask you this question. If you knew without doubt that you could not fail, what would you do? If you knew without doubt that you couldn't fail, what would you do? Because the thing that stops us always is fear. So in the book, I actually give you a step-by-step guide to truly stop fear in its tracks. And in that book, I share 3 steps, how you actually create more courage, how you get more of it, how you stop fear in its tracks, giving you more self-confidence, more courage, and therefore giving you that drive to do what you know that you want to do. And once you have more courage, once you have more self-belief in yourself, you begin to create, and everything that you touch turns to gold or sold. So the tip that I want to give you tonight towards creating more courage is to actually let go of fear. And this sounds difficult, but it is easier than you think. And first of all, what I want to share with you is don't fight against it. Whatever we resist persists. So it's like, you know, making a decision not to fight against fear, but instead to actually acknowledge it. The thing is that anything that we fight against resists and grows bigger. It's always the way. It's always the way. So I'm sure that you've tried that yourself and that it hasn't worked. So the absolute truth of the matter is that every single one of us has fear. It's just learning the tactics. It's learning the tricks to calm the farm. For me and hundreds that I've taught over the years, this works. And it's a play on a slight alteration, if you like, of something that I learned from the amazing Michael Singer. And his book called The Untethered Soul is a book that really resonated with me, and it really helped me to calm the farm and to actually release fear more than any other book that I've ever read. And it actually really resonated with me and helped me create more courage and more self-confidence as well. So don't attempt in any way to fight against fear. Just remind yourself and acknowledge that self-doubt, that fear, it's actually just there to protect you. It's there to keep you safe. It's there to help you and it's not there to destroy you in any way, shape, or form. So if you acknowledge it, if you thank it, if you relax into it, and then you're able to release it and let it go, you'll find that eventually you're able to do this all the time. In the beginning, it's not simple, but the more that you do it, the better that you'll get. So just actually breathing, slowing down your breath, thinking about the fear, thinking about the self-doubt, acknowledging it, noticing it, thanking it for its efforts to keep you safe, relaxing into it, and then imagining releasing it and letting it go. So actually imagining it as though it's a bird in your very own hands, and just actually opening your hands and releasing the bird and allowing it just to fly away, and allowing that fear, that self-doubt, that thought that is holding you back, allowing it just to fly off into the air. And this really does work to help you create more courage and more self-confidence than you ever thought was possible for you to create for yourself in your life. But it is about constantly doing it over and over and over. So the next one is love. So this one is so simple. And what I want to say to you is, whatever the question, love is the answer. This chapter is all about our approach to life. And when we learn the tool to embrace life, when we learn the tool to love life, to find love, to be love, and on some occasions we don't even think that it's possible, but with practice, anything is. So if you want a better relationship with yourself, a partner, with your family, with your friends, this chapter in the book will actually give you more tools to create more love. But I want to give you the tool right now that I want, that I learned and that made such a difference to me. And that is that no matter what is happening, if you're out to increase love, to be love, to give love, to gain love, then simply ask yourself this question in every moment that you feel that you are not creating love. Just ask yourself, how would love respond right now? And you'll know that if the way that you're responding is the way that love would respond. If we keep on saying, am I being love? Is this love? How would love respond? Then we just cannot lose. And that's an absolute given. So the next one, which is number 6 in the book, is about the power of now. So we can focus on the past and we can get upset by something that did or didn't happen in the past. Or we can focus on the future and we can be worried or stressed or absolutely possessed, if you like, by something that may or may not happen in the future. What I want to share with you is the how of staying in the now. And it's such an important tool. It's such a tool that once you learn it, once you really get yourself into the now and learn how to stay there, you actually become present in this moment. And this is where the joy is. That's where the happiness is. And that's where you get to never again be frustrated or upset by the past, or worried and stressed and anxious and completely overpowered and overwhelmed by the possibility of what may or may not happen in the future. So the tool for this one is to think about reminding yourself that life is right now, to take the learnings from the past. So whenever you go back into the past, just ask yourself, what did I learn from that incident? And what's that gift? What's that learning? What's that lesson? What's the gift from the past? And don't worry about it at all. And if you find yourself thinking about the future, just ask yourself this question: is that happening now? And the answer is no. So what is happening right now? Is there anything happening right now in this moment that is upsetting me, that is bringing me pain? And if the answer is no, then just bring yourself back, take a few deep breaths and come back into the now. Because any time that you're stressing about the past or the future, you just have to remind yourself to come back into the now. So the next one is about surrender, about surrendering everything, surrendering the outcome. They, whoever they are, say, save the best to last. And for me, this is the biggest superpower for you to create a joyful, happy, abundant life. Learning this skill of surrender, it's the hardest skill to learn, but it's by far the most important, because when we can surrender, nothing else matters. So this tool will have you waking up to realize that everything that you need to be all that you ever want to be is already within you. We must plan. We must set our intentions for everything that we want for ourselves and our lives. We need to brainstorm every single possible action that we could take to achieve our intention. So when we set our intention, we brainstorm the actions, and then we surrender the outcome, because it's actually in that outcome that the upset lies. So I want you to really think about this tool. Surrendering expectation comes down to trust. Do you trust in God? Do you trust in the universe? It doesn't matter what you trust in, as long as you trust in something. So whether it's God, whether it's the universe, just take a moment to think about for yourself what it is that you actually trust in, and remind yourself that you are not in control of what other people do, that you are not in control of the weather, that you are not in control of the universe, that you are not the universe, and that you are not God, or whatever it is that you believe. And therefore surrender your anticipated outcomes to the universe. Yes, set intentions. Yes, put actions in place. Absolutely. Because that's the only way that things are going to happen. But when you actually make a decision to surrender the outcome, then you also surrender all possible upset. So, in conclusion, I want you to think about how you can wake up, how you can step up, how you can be that version of you that you already know is within you. You already know that you have everything that you need to be all that you ever want to be. You truly know that you've got this. You truly know that you are enough. You truly know that you are worthy. And if you don't, then it's time for you to wake up and see this truth. Sometimes we just get all caught up in the busyness of life. We begin to doubt ourselves. We begin to doubt our abilities, and we forget that we truly are all that we ever need to be. We forget that we already have all that we ever need to be all that we ever want to be. So yeah, wake up, level up, step up. It's your time to shine. So give me a shout out if you would like to do a one-on-one with me to actually talk about what might be next for you. If you're really ready to level up, if you're really ready to take that next step for you, whatever that looks like, and keep your eye out a little later in the year for the full version of the book, because that will be happening before the 19th of July. And I just want to say to you, wake up and realize that you really do have this thing called life. I have an idea that you will absolutely love it. And I have an idea that you are ready to wake up and see that you already do have this thing called life. That it is your time to shine, your moment to turn things on their head and discover that version of you that you might have been hiding away. My wish for you is that you have more confidence than you've ever known, that you have more courage than you can poke a stick at, and that you create health and wealth beyond your wildest dreams, more wealth than you ever thought possible, and that you have on a daily basis more joy and more happiness than you ever even knew existed. So I personally want to connect more with you. I want to hear about your passions. I want to hear about your purpose. I want you to know that I know you, that I see you, and that I believe in you, even if you don't. The reason that I know you and the reason that I believe in you is that I truly believe that every single one of us already has all that we ever need to be all that we ever want to be. So yeah, I believe wholly and solely that you've got this. So shake yourself up, wake yourself up, and see that it is your time to shine. So if you do want to spend a half an hour with me for free, one-on-one, I would love to invite you to connect with me personally for that one-on-one, absolutely no cost for you, so that we can actually look at what's next for you. How does that look for you? How can you wake up, shake up, level up, step up, and see and know that it is your year. This is your year and it's your time to shine. Love you and thank you so much for listening, every one of you. Vickie Magic, signing off.